Alright everyone, the Steel Ball Run's first anime episode just released, and it's insanely hype. Yes, we only have the first episode right now, but as mentioned, this is a 47-minute special covering the first stage of the race, or the first 11 chapters. But let's start off with literally the first scene. They flat out lied to us. Sandman shows up as the first character in the Steel Ball Run anime. I don't know what Yasuhiro Kimura was referring to, but looking back at this quote, he only said that the anime needed some restructuring compared to the manga. But either way, Sandman was in the first scene of the anime. Now, granted, they probably meant that the entire scene wouldn't be the first one. Still, being able to see Sandman for at least a little bit, even though they didn't adapt the entire beginning part, was still crazy to see from the anime, especially when I was really just expecting like a straight opening to the Steel Ball Run race announcement, or maybe something with like Gyro or Johnny. Now, after this scene, we do get a bit from Steven Steele announcing the Steel Ball Run, and it was a pretty fun scene. But right afterwards, we got our introduction to Gyro Zeppeli. The main thing I want to talk about here is the sound of the steel balls. They sound as amazing as I initially imagined. The sound of the spin is exactly like Hamon, which is an amazing touch since spin is this universe's Hamon basically. It has this electric sound to it, as well as the classic ringing noise that you get out of Hamon. Now, I know a lot of people probably forgot how Hamon sounded, but if you go back to those earlier episodes, it genuinely sounds the exact same. Like, it has like the electric effect and like the ringing sound to it. Like, it literally just sounds like Gyro is using Hamon for his steel balls. Now, right after we get Gyro's opening scene, or well, during that scene in fact, we get Johnny's first scene right after. And yeah, comparing Johnny's first frame here to his first manga panel frame, they did justice to our boy. He looks like an actual human being now. They did include a bit of Johnny's backstory, which is great. Obviously, they have been speeding through these scenes a little bit, and of course this is the case when you're trying to do so much in so little time, and it honestly just leads to a great pace that's really fast and energetic the whole way through. Like, yeah, there are some parts of Johnny's backstory that aren't included, but like they have the important parts there, which is necessary. Okay, something that I was actually really curious about got answered in this episode. This scene where Sandman entered the Steel Ball Run race. In the manga, he was shown to have sand covered to the gemstone that he gave to the Steel Ball Run employee. This sand is now removed. It's literally just like the paper bag thingy and the gemstone. Now, this could make sense. I feel as though originally they were trying to give Sandman like more of a sand-based ability, but then they decided against it later on. And yeah, the anime seems to confirm this. With the removal of the sand, there isn't really a worry about where that sand came from. Now, Pocoloco, right? There was a lot of expectations coming from Pocoloco. They did say that Pocoloco would end up having a great showing with this first episode, and they were completely right. Pocoloco was a fantastic part of this first episode. Now, his starting scene is really interesting. They didn't include absolutely every scene that was included in the manga, but they did leave in every single scene that was absolutely necessary. Everything that they cut out was just adding more to the idea that Pocoloco was lucky, but given the time frame that we're working with here, yeah, we already know and we could already tell how lucky Pocoloco was just from what the Steel Ball Run anime shows itself. So everything not included was just an unnecessary addition. Now, getting into the race, I think this is a great time to talk about the CGI in this episode. The CGI in the Steel Ball Run anime has been a topic thought about for many years at this point. How would Steel Ball Run deal with the CGI for the horses in the racing scenes? While we got a bit from the trailers, it really wasn't until this anime episode that we really got a definitive answer. And it's absolutely amazing. Honestly, for the most part, you couldn't even tell it's CGI, or you would genuinely have to be thinking about CGI at that moment to get ideas that, hey, this horse is CGI. They do really good at swapping between the CGI and the animation. There could be like a small scene where there's a horse that's in CGI, like with Johnny's horse moving, but like you don't even process that it's there because the scene right before and right after that have 2D animation. Like, they did a really good balance, as most of the racing scenes itself were in this 2D animation, and the CGI only really showed up for moments that truly needed it the most. Another thing to note is Urmd Avdol. I bet this was crazy for anime onlys, you know, Avdol being back, except he isn't really actually, you know, he was pretty much just there for 2 minutes, but it was an amazing 2 minutes. The best thing about Urmd Avdol is that he was using the exact same theme music as Muhammad Avdol in Stardust Crusaders. Listen back to Muhammad Avdol's theme, and you'll see that they went back and reused it for Urmd Avdol here in Steel Ball Run, even though he only had 2 minutes of screen time as previously said. Speaking of themes, we gotta talk about Dio, or Diego Brando. He also reused a theme, that being original universe Dio's theme, specifically Dark Rebirth. However, it did have a twist to it, sounding like a remix of Dio's theme rather than the same theme proper. And yeah, with Diego Brando being a much more primary character for the Steel Ball Run anime, and him just being a completely different character to original universe Dio, him getting this theme remix is amazing, and I sure hope to hear a lot from it in the future. Something else about Diego that was absolutely insane was the audio for Diego moving around. He was zipping through the crowd, and the sound effect they used for this near teleportation was the exact sound used for the original Dio's The World sound. You know, when Dio was screaming "The World," and even Jotaro using the same time stop ability, it sounded exactly like that when Diego was moving through the crowd of other contestants. It's honestly a really great touch and adds to the idea that this new universe is, you know, completely new, but there are still some familiar aspects that we learn to love. 23 minutes into the first episode and the race starts. This means that half of the episode was build up to the race, while the other half was about the race itself. This was predicted, but if anything, I would have thought that they would have more focus on the race itself. But they did get rid of some scenes that were included inside of the Steel Ball Run race, so this actually does end up working out. They do go through like every part of the race here fairly nicely, though there is a scene in particular that I am intrigued by that was modified for the anime. This being the scene with Pocoloco and Heiya. We do hear the voice of Heiya, but we never actually got his physical appearance. This is really interesting because it means we didn't get a stand for the entirety of the first episode. It was pure racing and spin and the steel balls and the voice of a stand, but not the actual visual design of it. This is really cool. It really gives off the focus of the race pretty well. Like we're just here to focus on the race, and that JoJo doesn't need to incorporate the stand fights just yet. But it also makes spin really cool since it's the only supernatural element that gets a focus in this episode. Now, there is another character that we got to talk about for this. Funny Valentine. This episode doesn't feature any Funny Valentine at all, which is pretty interesting. I would have thought that they maybe would have included him like around the end or something like that. But yeah, they are keeping Funny Valentine as a complete surprise for the time being, which is great. It just gives the anime more time to focus on the Steel Ball Run race. And with 11 chapters of content, they really need all the time that they could get. Either way, with the race comes its extremely tense ending, and it was handled really well. And it really gives you the idea of being on the edge of your seat, seeing who would prevail at the end of the race. And once again, getting into the idea of there being so much packed into this one episode. I honestly didn't even realize we had a full 47 minutes of Steel Ball Run out of this. You could have told me that this was just a standard 22-minute episode, and I would have believed you with how fast-paced this episode really was. It's a shame we got the removal of our favorite Steel Ball Run characters, the mini horses seen with Steven Steele. But yeah, that never really made much sense anyway. But hey, what other changes could the Steel Ball Run anime include in the future? Well, watch this video if you want to see some other ideas that they could remove or just like generally change.